Hello, everybody, and welcome to the webinar. Um, I hope you can hear me well. If not, let me know. And one thing is, please stay muted till the end of the presentation when there is time for questions. I'd like to go over the agenda for this afternoon. And first of all, we'll be introducing our speakers. And then we'll briefly highlight the importance and value of that the analyst can give you. Then obviously we will talk about 10 reasons that can impact your AR program. And finally, my colleague will discuss the workshops that we provide. And then it's question time. So introducing the speakers. First of all, my name is Annelieke Nagel. And I've been working in the IT industry for more than 15 years, it says here, but in actual fact it's 20. And preferably in marketing, communications, PR, and obviously also in AR, analyst relations. I'm an ex-Gartner and IDC employee, and in the last 15 years, I've successfully developed global AR plans and executing them for large, medium, and small-sized companies. I will now hand over to my colleague, Victoria Rice.
Hello, everybody. My name is Victoria. I am the Marketing and Business Development Manager at Kia Company. I have been working for Kia for 2 years now. I joined in 2016 as a client partner. And before I had worked at BCD, that's a business travel agency, so it is a totally different segment, but I also used to work with big clients such as Daimler, Bosch, Capgemini, and Merck. And I am also an international business management student specialized in online and content marketing. So Kia Company is the world's oldest consultancy focused on influencer research and analyst relations. We were founded in 2003, so it's quite a time ago. We have 25 employees with a multicultural background, and as Annelieke already said, we have employees who are ex-Gartner, IDC, and Ovum employees, and who really have an in-depth knowledge of the global analyst landscape. So let's jump into the analyst importance and value. Some of you may be familiar with analyst relations already. For those who are not, I will briefly explain what it is about. So an industry analyst can work individually or within a firm and creates and publish research about technology products, how they can be procured, how they can be used. And of course, they have a very high importance and value. So first of all, there is a massive influence on buying decisions. 40 to 60% it is, in fact. All the business technology buying decisions are influenced by that, and this was found out by Sage Circle and the Kensington Group. Each year, Gartner analysts speak in around 1/3 of a million inquiry calls, which is really a big number. And if you add the discussion at conferences, if you add the discussions and talks on events, of course, you see the massive influence that is going from analysts. Then, of course, when analysts write about an unknown firm, potential customers may consider them during the buying process. So, of course, increased brand awareness is also a value that can be retrieved from them. You can also shape the perception of your company in the market, because analysts write about companies in a positive or in a negative way. They do it anyway. They're independent. They write their research, and you can actively influence that, not manipulating that, but influence that by proactively reaching out to them, providing them the full information about your company at the right time so that they can form a more accurate opinion about your company and maybe turn their report in a different direction. Then, of course, we have the differentiation, which is also a value you can have, because valuable info about your segment are there from the analyst. The analyst knows your competitors. They know actually everything about your market. They don't share sensitive data. That's not what I'm saying, but you can learn from their experience and find out how you differentiate from your competitors. And of course, for the startups, if you have a startup here, or if you are interested in the investment decision part, investors tell us that they value the opinions of analysts greatly. So if an analyst supports, or just if an analyst mentions your company in a report, you can really improve your visibility with investors. So you can imagine like it's an Amazon choice function which they have. So they have a list of startups they may be interested in, and they think, okay, who is doing well at the moment, and they see a recommendation of the analyst and they say, okay, I will pay more attention to this company because, of course, when an analyst mentions you, you have a higher credibility there. When you establish a very well AR program, of course, the result will be probably new customers and long-term relationship if you do your job well. So let's go further. We have the 10 aspects that can make or break your analyst relations program, which is the main part of our discussion today. So let's start by not knowing the analyst landscape and wasting on the wrong people. What does that actually mean? Many companies who have no experience with analyst relations target wrong analysts with a different coverage. So they talk to analysts who have completely different business models that do not fit the company's AR program or objectives. Or it happens that companies just have too few or too many analysts on their list, not knowing which analyst is more important and which is not important at all, and they tier them in a wrong way. So Annalike is going to talk a bit more about that aspect in a few minutes. Also, a very important factor is the timing. So analysts may be not interested in your solution at a particular moment, which does not mean that they are not interested at all. So you really have to know the agenda of the analyst. You have to research, okay, what is the current goal and what is the current research objective of the analyst? Is my solution at the moment, or is my information really beneficial to the analyst at the moment or not? So you really have to get the timing on point. Another mistake which is arising very often, we've noticed that a lot of companies use the same approach for all analysts. That means they have a message and they have a presentation and they go to every analyst with the same approach, which is not correct because, of course, analysts are different. They have a different agenda. They are different from that type. So some are very bureaucratic. Some are very important. Some have a very strict list of things they want to know, in what format they want to know that. Everything is set with some analysts, so you can't really go there with the same messaging. It's like mass marketing. You cannot reach everyone with that. So you really have the one-on-one basis here. The second point is the not tailoring or the wrong tailoring. What we have experienced very often is that vendors don't say things in the right way, or they don't say the things they want to say, and they tailor presentations in the wrong way. For example, they speak about analysts' research agendas, or they don't know about their future plans, so they are not really updated very well. Sometimes they make assumptions that are not correct, or they assume that analysts are only interested in their domestic markets. And this is obviously not a good preparation for a call. So it's really important that you inform yourselves about the analyst's needs, about the analyst's interest, and about the analyst's goals. That is really crucial in order to succeed with the talk, with the presentation, and with the relationship with the analyst. Then the third factor, which is really important as well, is the internal support. And with internal support, I mean the support not with a budget only, but also with the support from top executives. You have to make sure that you have enough time to execute your AR tasks. For example, product and service managers. They need to be available to schedule inquiry calls with the analysts, and communications professionals need to involve analysts who are supportive into their social media, into their traditional media, and as well into their content marketing in order to use the full potential of the analyst relations, as well as salespeople who can use the insight of the analyst to grow their pipeline. So you really have many different people in the company who take their individual part in AR. And all of them have to be provided with the right resources, and all of them have to be given the time they need in order to fulfill their duty in analyst relations. And Annelieke is now going to talk about the rest of the aspects.
Thank you, Victoria. Okay, so we go on with lack of awareness and what we mean with that. As already mentioned, AR can support your branding and standing in the market, which means they need to be well informed of your company's strategy, products, and services. If you as a vendor are not aware of the relevant analyst and their research agenda, this means in general that you won't be mentioned in the research that can be important to you. So building a strong and positive relationship with the analyst requires more than a quick one-night stand approach. It takes time to build a relationship, like in normal life, and it's based on the understanding of the way each analyst works. So if you, the next one is picking your battles. In order to be as economically as possible with the little time that you have, focus on the business units and the analysts with whom you can make the most impact for your sales organization. And money gets wasted if you start AR without a plan. So the best results from analyst relations are delivered by executing a great AR plan. This plan needs to be built with the input your own management, product management, marketing and communication will give, as it needs to support the goals of the full company. That way, you can decide on the best analyst that you need to connect with in order to get the highest visibility and the best results in the research. In other words, understand how your key analysts work, that is, what they focus on, how they share their opinions, and how they earn their income, which is also nowadays very important because you have freemium or subscription type of analyst houses. If we go to the next area, which is underestimating the impact of AR. As previously mentioned, if you do not communicate with the analyst, they will possibly write about you in any case. So it is better to be in the driver's seat and make sure that you inform the relevant analysts upfront and timely for their upcoming research. Analysts influence between 40 to 60% of the technology buying behavior, and this includes being a source of information for both journalists and investors. So you can imagine that when they write about you or when they talk about you, when they deliver speeches at events, etc., and they mention you, your name, your company, your products, that can be of incredible value. AR can also deliver poor value due to wrong investment areas. As you have now understood, it will take time and money to build a good long-term relationship with each key analyst, so you absolutely need to buy in from your management, and this includes budget. Time and effort from various people internally, as we call them the subject matter experts, because they need to respond to research information requests, but they also need to invest time in briefing analysts on an ongoing basis. Ongoing, that is the word, both from a technical and strategic point of view. Ongoing because you have to remember that analysts hear on average around 200 vendors per week. So if you want to stay top of mind, you need to understand that it takes time, effort and money to make sure that the analyst remembers you and your company. Money because you may decide that you want to buy their reports, or you may want to visit the events that analyst companies put on. And please don't forget, invite your main analyst also to your own company events. This will give you valuable one-on-one time with the analyst to build the relationship. Then we have investing in the wrong analyst. Analysts share their opinions in different ways. Understanding the differences amongst analysts is key knowledge for the analyst relations person. Poor value due to investing in the wrong analyst can be in various ways. You can invest in an analyst that ultimately doesn't write about you and your company. That's a waste of your time. On the other hand, you can also invest time and money so that they write research, but as they have no connection with the end user community, they are therefore unable to assist you in your quest for getting on long lists and short lists. So upfront, you need to decide exactly for which purpose you want to connect with which analyst. This is key to your AR planning, and it should result in a knowledge matrix of relevant analysts with relevant subjects and relevant purposes. Analyst firms can be a problem themselves as well, because the big analyst firms generally focus on the larger and most of the time American vendors in well-defined markets where they have stable categories and lots of interest from users and vendors alike. This means that the analysts are missing out, especially on emerging markets and technologies, and also high growth vendors outside of the top 20 in most markets that gets frequently ignored. So this can be a great opportunity for you, as analysts are by nature curious. So set up an AR plan around informing your analyst with the latest and greatest information about your company, solutions, products and services that you have. I will now hand over back to Victoria.
Thank you very much, Annelieke. So before we start with the most interesting part, with the question part, I would like to reveal our new discovery workshop, which is very fitting the topic because we have experienced that there is a lot of demand from companies that we develop a workshop like this, because many people, many companies want to establish an AR program, but they don't know how to do this, or they don't want to be bounded by long-term contracts, or they need a little help to know in what kind of direction they go without staying in a contract. So this is why we developed this one-time workshop, which is really just a single situation where we help the companies to explore the level of coverage of their technology space, where we help to understand the internal resources that are required to help to plan a budget and identify key analysts for the company, optimize the pitch, and get a better understanding of key content that are needed for AR. And we will educate about tiering of analysts in order to allocate resources efficiently. Like Annelieke said, there are a lot of people sometimes on the list, a lot of analysts on the company's list, and companies do not know, okay, is this analyst important? Is this analyst not important? So we are also providing guidance there. Also about AR tools and how to measure the analyst influence and the value. Also the return on investment. How is this measured? Because this is always a very difficult topic. About this we are going to talk as well. Okay, great. Now we have time for questions and comments. So you can use the chat feature to submit questions, or you can just talk. I think we have to unmute you here at this point.
Shall I do that?
Yes, I think I can't. So you can unmute the people so that we can start the question round. Oh, wonderful. I see they're unmuted already.
So if there are no questions, which it looks like, I just have one question for you. Let us know if what you've heard today is of importance to you, or that you wanted to hear something totally different or partially different. Anything that you can send us as feedback is much appreciated.
Is somebody typing something?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, good. Before we go then, we decided to give away one free book that we have written at Kia. So because we understand that some of you are not really familiar, or maybe if it was a little bit difficult to understand what we have previously mentioned, there are a lot of more information provided in the books. Of course, normally they can be purchased, but we decided to do a one-time giveaway, so you can choose one of the books, whether it's Win Them Over, Survival Guide, Influencer Relations, Insight on Analyst Value, or the Industry Analyst Relations and Extensions to PR book. You can just write me an email at victoria.rice@kiacompany.net and I will send you the free book if you need more information. Of course, you will get precise figures, models, numbers that can probably help you with your further research. Okay, so there are no questions yet, as I understand. So there is still a little bit of time.
Let me thank you very much for the presentation. It was quite useful as a first step. Thanks.
Thank you very much. You're welcome. Any other comments? Okay. Okay, thank you very much for being here. If you can think of another question or a comment, a feedback, if you need the book, message us or write us through social media or connect with us on LinkedIn, so you have all the opportunities. And thank you very much for being here. And we really appreciated that and wish you a very successful end of the week. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Same to you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.